this morning. So, yesterday I did a video with Sakio and Latana and Chelsea because they wanted to clarify what I was saying online, that I was homeless, which I came from Erie, Pennsylvania because I got terminated, not evicted, as my aunt said. She keeps saying I've been evicted, but I've been terminated. There's a difference. I've been terminated because they said I've been there for a long time. And my house was messy. Only one time they came to my house, it wasn't organized, so they didn't pass my Section 8 inspection. And that's the only time I missed an inspection. And my aunt, she keeps bringing out, saying I'm dirty and this and that my family doesn't talk to me because I'm psycho or something. And that's not the truth of what she's saying, because I grew up without anybody in my life. All I've been done to me as a child was being abused by my grandmother, because my grandmother raised me, and my mom gave me up when I was 2. And my uncles sexually molested me when I was 7 years old. And growing up, I didn't have a normal childhood. And as soon as I got of age, I ran away from my grandmother and I got on my own. And the family chose not to talk to me, not because I'm psycho, it's because they're dysfunctional. And they put me through a lot of pain growing up because I've been abused emotionally, verbally, and sexually. And she's saying because I'm psycho, which is a lie. I never even done nothing to them people for them not to want to talk to me. They just chose not to talk to me, and I didn't like how she was saying that to them, and they're believing it. And I consider myself homeless because I'm relying on my aunt at her house, staying. I'm relying on somebody else. It's not my permanent home. So I'm homeless, trying to get my own place. I'm in a shelter now, in a mission, and I don't have to prove that to anybody, because if they don't believe me, that's them. Because I don't need my aunt calling my mission, asking where I'm at and all that type of stuff, because that's so weird. I just want to be left alone, and her just bring my stuff to my house and that's it, and just leave me alone, And she said, well, she doesn't know how to wash dishes. Well, this whole time I was at your house, you said you wanted to wash the dishes because you like washing dishes. I didn't know that. I didn't know how to wash dishes, or it was because that she thought that. Because when I was washing my dishes, I used soap. I know how to wash dishes. That's another lie. It's she's telling half truths about stuff, and the people don't understand why I'm staying outside instead of getting a hotel, because I really don't have the money to get a hotel, so I chose to sit outside and struggle until I can get home, because I had to go to another city in Tennessee because the buses don't run to a certain time. And the buses don't run to a certain time, so I had to go on Tuesday. And I told her I was leaving at 5 a.m, the bus. I have to wait out there. And so I left. And I met this girl. she was nice and she let me stay at the hotel without any charge. And then the next day I went to my appointment, and then that whole day I stayed outside because there wasn't no shelters over that way. So I stayed outside the whole night, sleeping outside, because that's the only choice I had to do because there was no room. And my aunt wasn't going to pick me up. She said she was going to pick me up on the way to church, but she changed her mind after she talked to her husband, saying, well, Jose think you should stay over there until you find your place. And I'm like, well, I don't even know nothing about the city, but I can try to find a shelter over there. But I couldn't find one, so I was telling her I can come back to the city on Monday, because she didn't want me at her house because she wanted me to go to the remission. She didn't want me to go to the mission. She wanted me to go to the mission, I felt, because she wanted me out of her house because she was saying over at the town she wanted me in the mission when I was supposed to go back to her house. But she said, her husband said, well, he thinks I should stay over there until I get my place so I don't have to keep going back and forth and pay all that money. And so I was like, okay. And then afterwards, I was calling apartments, leaving messages and stuff like that. I didn't need her help to call apartments. I didn't plan for her to help me call them. I could call them myself and ask, are they available and stuff. And so I don't know where she sent that text. Maybe because I blocked her text messages. But I didn't need her help to call. I was going to call myself. I called them and stuff myself and asked them. And there wasn't no rooms still on the 8th. And then I got on the bus to come back. And she was like, you going to the mission? I'm going to take you there. But there I called and there was no room. So that day, I ate something and I said I was going for a walk for the text message. And I told her I was going out, and she tried to say I didn't tell her that in the text, which I did. And later on, I told her, like, well, I'm staying outside. I'm staying outside because I didn't feel comfortable to go back there. So that's why I didn't want to go back to her house. I was going to stay out all night. And I think I posted something on Facebook saying, I don't even remember what I posted on Facebook. I think it said, I'm not sure if it said my aunt's put me out. I don't know. But evidently she's put me at her house if she's sending me to the remission. That's how I felt about it. Because she wasn't driving me. She wasn't driving me around nowhere or nothing like that, man. I would have to pay her $20 to go to that city, Murfreesboro. And I would have to go after appointment, but I wanted to be on time. So I went the days I went. And I don't want to pay for a hotel because I really don't have the money. I'm on low income, really. And so I just did what I had to do, even though people don't understand it. And it's not that I didn't want to follow the rules there. it's just that I felt she was complaining about little stuff like the white noise machine, and it didn't run the electricity up. So I was saying that little thing is not going to run the electricity up. And I posted something on Facebook because I was like mad about it because I just gave her $100 and she's complaining already. So that was about. And then she was going to kick me out on the streets. She was going to kick me out on the streets because of that post and give me my $100 back. And I had to call her, I think her husband's mom or something, and explain to her what happened and stuff. And then she talked to her, and then I went to her house and explained to her about why I did that, and then made up with her and said I was sorry to her. And she said about the $100 that she didn't even really need $100 because they got a house and cars and all that stuff they have in their house. And I came out here struggling because I left everything in Erie. And she was like, well, you threw that $100, so the money around. I didn't know what to say. Like, she said it in a certain way. It was like really crazy and off, like, and I was like, that's so weird how she was saying that and ignorant. But I didn't even say nothing, man. And that's the thing. People don't see everything that goes on. They just hear half truths and listen to it, and they don't understand nothing. So, yeah. And I told them, like, well, I didn't want no hotel because I wanted to stay outside all night. And they was like, well, you need to accept help because we don't want you on the streets. So I took it as like a gesture, but I left that night and told her that that I wanted to stay outside that night because I knew I was going to the mission. Friday, I was going to have her take me, but when I went to her house, she had my suitcase on the door and talking about, well, you stayed out last night, so you didn't have to stay outside last night. And I'm like, well, I told you I was staying outside because I wanted to stay outside. I didn't feel comfortable being around y'all because I felt negative vibes and I wanted to stay outside. And if I wanted to stay outside, that was my choice, as long as I wasn't coming late at your house. I never disrespected her or nothing. I just made my choice to stay outside, and that was my choice. And she was like, well, you didn't have to stay outside like you're a little kid or something. I'm like, and then she put my stuff on the porch because I stayed outside last night. And then I walked off the porch and I started walking because I was going to walk to the mission because I don't think she wanted to talk to me because she was like acting so negative. And I see these two, her husband and her, drive off, and she sees me walking and she doesn't even offer me a ride or nothing. She just rode off and just didn't even say anything to me without any communication or nothing. Like, I don't understand that. And you don't think that's psychotic? And she's calling me a psycho. Like, okay then. And then they're talking about my church and stuff. I don't go to church. Like, I don't even know why they bring that stuff up. Like, I don't go to church right now because I'm in a situation that's complicated. And then he's going to be like, why is it complicated? Well, I'm in an area where I can't get to a church. That's why it's complicated. And I was going to wait till I get my house so I can find a home church I can go to. So, yeah. It's just crazy, man. And the stuff she was saying was like uncalled for. Like, she was just saying half truths about stuff, saying I did tell her this and that. And I have the text messages where I did tell her that I was going out and she asked me that, and I said, yeah. I said I was going out before that, though. And they tried to say, well, this person was going to set up a fund me for you because they thought you were homeless. And I'm like, I didn't even know that. Like, I didn't ask somebody to set up a fund me. I didn't ask for nobody for the money. I was just explaining my situation of what I'm going through right now. I'm on low income and I only make so much, and I have to save this money up to get a certain amount so I can get the deposit and rent. I'm on like low income. I am really out here like without my own home, so I consider me homeless. I'm staying at a shelter. I'm staying with people, just relying on them until I get my place, so I consider that homelessness. So I don't know. And I gave her $100 for staying there, which I wasn't expecting her to ask me for $100 because she didn't mention that in Erie, but she popped up and said it when I was mentioning about my income. Then she was like, "Well, you can give me $100." I'm like, "Okay, I will give you $100." And I gave her $100. And she even said she didn't even need it, like, but she asked me for $100. And then if I'm giving you $100, that's rent right there, and I should like have some certain type of privacy, like, and they asking me strange questions of who I get out of the car with and stuff like that. Cause I went to church. Oh, she went to church, and I walked down, and I told her that I walked down, and I was waiting for her at the park, like, and waiting for her, and she wasn't even at the church, and then all of a sudden she texted me and said, well, I thought you wanted to walk. But I said earlier in the text that, are you still in a church? Which meant, like, if I asked you that, that means I was wanted to ride back. But she said, like, well, it was a misunderstanding. So I was just sitting on the porch steps, and this lady and this guy came out of the church. There was an old lady and an old woman, and they was like, are you waiting for somebody? And I was like, yeah. I thought the person left, and he was like, well, do you need a ride? We'll give you a ride. And I said, yeah. I felt comfortable with them because they came out of the church. I don't know. And so they gave me a ride to her house and everything. And then a couple of minutes later, she questioned me about, who was that great car you got of? And I was like, why? And she was like, well, I didn't recognize it. And she was like, where are you getting out of strangers' cars and stuff like that? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, why does it matter to her if what car I get out of? I could have knew the person. All she knew. She doesn't know about my personal life or who I know here. And I felt like she was like invading my privacy, really, because she don't need to be asking me personal stuff about who I'm with and who this and that. Like, whose car are you in? And she was gonna question me, interrogate me at the police. And I'm like, well, telling her about my privacy and stuff like that. And then she got mad about it, and she started giving me all these rules afterwards, because she would have done that beforehand. She gave me them rules afterwards, after I confronted her about her asking me the question. And then I said, okay. To the rules. I vacuumed the room, like she said, and the clothes in the dresser were out of the drawer because the clothes don't fit in the dresser. So I had to put my stuff in garbage bags because I have a lot of clothes there, because it doesn't all fit in the dresser. So that's why I had it like little clothes coming out of the dresser and stuff. It's crazy, man. And then she was on my Facebook page, and I might have posted some things like some stuff concerning me of how my day was going, saying, well, I'm tired of getting up so early, I'm tired of going outside when they do, and saying stuff about the other family, and saying my aunt is the only one there for me, and she deleted me because of that one. And then she kept looking on my Facebook page after she deleted me, because when she deleted me, she seen that post that I post about, like I said, these people keep complaining about stuff, and I just gave them money. And then that's how I know she was looking on my page, because she deleted me, and she was still looking on my page. So I felt like, well, I'm just gonna block her because she deleted me off Facebook, and she doesn't have a reason to keep looking on my page if she deleted me, because that's like crazy. She's just going on my page to find stuff out, and I don't like that. Like, and now you're gonna tell her to go call the shelter to see if I'm there, to make sure I'm there. That's like petty. She doesn't need to know. I already told that I'm in the mission. Like, I don't need to prove myself to anybody if they don't believe me. And beforehand, before they even mentioned that, I made a video showing the shelter. So that leaves them dumb. It's crazy, man. I just feel like I don't want to, like, I just want them to take my stuff to my new apartment and don't be bothered with none of the family, none of that. None of them, because they're like say lies about me to make me look bad. And sometimes I would say stuff like misinterpret things. But I feel like I'm still, like I'm homeless because I'm in a shelter. And I really needed that lady's help because she can get me connected to services and bus passes, because I really don't have a lot of money to be taking buses, so I could use the bus passes. So I really did need that lady, Jennifer. It's crazy, but I have to go, guys. In that incident where she was like cussing just to explain something to me over the phone, and then wouldn't talk to me on the phone. It's childish. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I don't want to talk about her or the situation no more. I really don't like this shelter, being around 6 girls, because all they do is complain in there. But I'm gonna go because it's about to rain.